Hello everyone, I'm Nikita Lakhani and today I'll be presenting LexClick and I'll be discussing the topic the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971. There have been many regulations that have come along, but we'll start with the basics here. So, beginning with what pregnancy actually when pregnancies may be terminated by registered medical practitioners. So first being, notwithstanding anything contained in the Indian Penal Code, a registered medical practitioner shall not be guilty of any offence under the code or under any other law for the time being in force if any pregnancy is terminated by him in accordance with the provisions of this act. Second, subject to the provisions of subsection 4, a pregnancy may be terminated by a registered medical practitioner. A. Where the length of the pregnancy does not exceed 12 weeks if such medical practitioner is, or where the length of the pregnancy exceeds 12 weeks but does not exceed 20 weeks if not less than 2 registered medical practitioners are of opinion formed in good faith that the continuance of pregnancy would involve a risk to the life of the pregnant woman or of grave injury, physical or mental health. Second, there is a substantial risk that if the child were born, it would suffer from such physical or mental abnormalities as to be seriously handicapped. So, explaining what we said here, where any pregnancy is alleged by the pregnant woman to have been caused by rape, the anguish caused by such pregnancy shall be presumed to constitute a grave injury to the mental health of the pregnant woman. Now, where any pregnancy occurs as a result of failure of any device or method used by any married woman or her husband for the purpose of limiting the number of children, the anguish caused by such unwanted pregnancy may be presumed to constitute a grave injury to the mental health of the pregnant woman. Now, getting to the third point, in determining whether the continuance of pregnancy would involve such risk of injury to the health as is mentioned in subsection 2, account may be taken of the pregnant woman's actual or reasonable foreseeable environment. 4. No pregnancy of a woman who has not attained the age of 18 years or who having attained the age of 18 years is a lunatic shall be terminated except with the consent in writing of her guardian. Say a second part of it is as otherwise provided in CIA, no pregnancy shall be terminated except with the consent of the pregnant woman. Now, place where the pregnancy may be terminated, no termination of pregnancy shall be made in accordance with this act at any place other than a hospital established or maintained by government, a place for the time being approved for the purpose of this act by government. Now, section 3 and 4, when do they not apply? So, the first scenario being the provisions of section 4 and so much of the provisions of subsection 2 of section 3 as relate to the length of the pregnancy and the opinion not less than 2 registered medical practitioners shall not apply to the termination of pregnancy by the registered medical practitioner in case where he is of the opinion formed in good faith that the termination of such pregnancy is immediately necessary to save the life of the pregnant woman. Second, notwithstanding anything contained in the Indian Penal Code, the termination of a pregnancy by a person who is not a registered medical practitioner shall be an offence punishable under that code, and the code shall to this extent stand modified. Now, power to make rules, the central government may by notification of the official gazette make rules to carry out the provisions of this act. The in particular and without prejudice to the generality of the foregoing powers, such rules may provide for all or any of the following matters, namely A. The experience of training or both, which a registered medical practitioner shall have if he intends to terminate any pregnancy under this act. Second, such other matters as are required to be or may be provided by rules made under this act. Now the third point is every rule made by the central government under the act shall be laid as soon as may be after it is made before each House of Parliament while it is in session for a total period of 30 days, which may be comprised in one session or in two successive sessions. And if before the expiry of the session which it is so laid or the session immediately following, both houses agree in making any modification in the rule of both houses agree that the rule should not be made, the rule shall thereafter have effect only in such modified form or be of no effect as the case may be. So however that any much modification or annulment shall be without prejudice to the validity of anything previously done under the rule, done under that rule specifically. So now the power to make regulations. The state government may by regulations require any such opinion as is referred to in subsection 2 of section 3 to be certified by a registered medical practitioner or practitioners concerned in such form and at such time as be specified in such regulations and the preservation or disposal of such certificates. Second, require any registered medical practitioner who terminates the pregnancy to give the intimation of such termination and such other information relating to the termination may be specified in such regulations. Prohibit the disclosure except to such persons and for such purposes as may be specified in such regulations of intimations given or information furnished in pursuance of such regulations. The intimation given and the information furnished in pursuance of regulations made by virtue of CIB of subsection 1 or shall be given or furnished as the case may be to the chief medical officer of the state. Any person who willfully contravenes or willfully fails to comply with the requirements of any regulation made under subsection 1 shall be liable to be punished with fine which may extend to 1000 rupees. Now, protection of action taken in good faith. No suit for other legal proceedings shall lie against any registered medical practitioner for any damage caused likely to be caused by anything which is in good faith or intended to be done under this act. So we're through the topic now. Hope you understood it. If there are any queries, you could post the questions down below in the comment section. They'll be answered. So thank you. Bye.